32 of Innings podcast. Sports analysis.
Interviews.
Entertainment reviews.
And everything in between. Yo, what's that word? I'm gonna make sure we're cool in here. Yeah, we just a little glitch tonight, but it's all good. Episode 96. We're gonna jump right into this thing, man. It's been a while since I've been with y'all. Happy to be with y'all, man. Get in the comments below. Let me know how y'all been. But y'all know we start off every episode with a Reddit warm-up. And today we're gonna do a AITA. Am I the asshole? You know I'm gonna say it. So let me read it for y'all here. So am I the asshole for getting upset that my ex's girlfriend tried to have a woman-to-woman convo with my 7-year-old? Now, this is long, so we're going to keep it short. My 27-year-old ex-boyfriend, who was 29, so the girl is a 27-year-old female, and I share a 7-year-old daughter. Recently, she was on FaceTime with him, and I advised her to go get in the bathtub because it was almost bedtime. My son was crying because he was hungry, so I went into the nursery to breastfeed him and get him ready for bed too. This is where the issue starts. While I was in the nursery, I heard my ex-girlfriend's, not sure her exact age, early 20s though, start talking to my daughter and mention that she wanted to have a girl-to-girl conversation with her. At this point, I started actively listening. She began telling my daughter that she's becoming a woman now and they don't want to see her naked body. She also stated that neither I nor my husband need to see it either, and that since she's getting older, she doesn't need to be FaceTiming them when she's about to get a bath. Then she asked my daughter if she understood why, and my daughter said no. At this point, I left the nursery and stopped the conversation. I told my daughter to get in the tub, and I was going to talk to my ex's girlfriend. Let's call her Emma. I told Emma that I could have that conversation with my daughter, and it wasn't appropriate for her to have it. I even told her that she's not my daughter's mother, and she never will be, which makes those conversations not appropriate for her to have. She then began scolding me, stating that as her mother, I should be telling her that it's not okay to talk to them when she's getting ready to bathe. And she emphasized she was becoming a woman, and this was a huge issue. I didn't see the problem since they put her in the tub before and had a conversation with her while she was in the tub. I told her that, but she still found it inappropriate. I emphasized that she's 7 years old, not 10, not 13, 7. And I felt like if it was that big of an issue, then they should just said goodbye before she got ready to get in the tub, since they heard me tell her to get in. This is the last paragraph I'm going to read for y'all. Her father chimed in and said he gave Emma permission to have these conversations with our daughter. Emma also began stating she's known my daughter for years and is a mother figure to her, therefore it's appropriate and okay for her to have this discussion since I clearly wasn't. I want to make it very clear that I've had this conversation with my daughter about her private parts and who is not allowed to see them. She knows that strangers or people who are not her immediate family, her father, Emma, my husband, and I, are not allowed to see her naked. And I don't find it uncomfortable to see my own daughter naked. I also find it very strange that they find it uncomfortable, and I feel they're specializing my 7-year-old. Am I the asshole? So for this one, to be honest, I'm gonna say, yeah, you and I are an asshole personally, because if you have an ex, y'all had kids together, he's with your ex, her father, your daughter's father, and he gave her permission to have these conversations. I believe that raising kids is a village and community thing. So if she's been around your daughter for years, your significant other for years, and he's given her permission, or your ex-significant other, then they should have the ability to have those conversations. Parenting shouldn't just be left up to the literal immediate parents. We allow our kids to go to school every single day and get told how to behave by teachers and other adults and administrators. So why wouldn't somebody as important in life as your daughter, who she's spending a significant amount of time around, be able to have those judgments in your child's life. It kind of seemed real petty to me, especially what you saying she'll never be her mother. Obviously, she know that. If she didn't birth her, she knows she'll never be her official mother. But God forbid something happened to you, she's going to be the dominant mother figure in her life. If not, she's already a huge presence in your child's life now. And again, I probably seem passionate about it because this is something I've dealt with. I think you're an asshole. I think you kind of petty, and I think you kind of need to grow up at this point, because if you're going to trust your ex to be a father, then you got to also trust the people and figures that he has in his life, especially if you're going to allow your daughter and y'all kids to be in his life. So that's the advice I want to give. I'm sorry if that sounded too harsh, but yeah, that's how I really feel about it. So getting right into the episode 96, man. Y'all know how we do it. Get in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about that or what I said for sure. We're going to start off with the NFL season is right around the corner, baby. I love football, you know what I'm saying? And I know y'all do too. And we're going to name our major awards, and we're going to stand on it. We're going to stand on it. For real. Just like we did last year. We're going to stand on it. So my pick for MVP is going to be the boy Lamar Jackson. I think he should have won it last year. Josh Allen won it last year. It was kind of like Joel Embiid in the NBA for me, like, here, nigga, damn. but Josh Allen did have a really good year, so maybe I can't say that. But at the end of the day, I think Lamar Jackson, dual threat ability. I think the Ravens are going to have a tough offense and defense. And I think this is the year they can really push KC to come out of the AFC and get to the Super Bowl finally in Lamar's career. That's the last thing on his mantle. And I think every year he does it, but I think this year especially, he's going to put in that work to get over that hump. And I think that he's going to win the MVP. Y'all bookmark this. We got Offensive Player of the Year. Last year was Saquon. This year, I think it's going to be tough, man. I think it could be Saquon again. I would leave Saquon as my 1A, but as my 1B, I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. Dominant receiver. They got T. Higgins back. The offensive line, in my opinion, they've added more talent to it. And Joe Burrow, hopefully he can have a healthy year this year. And he's also a candidate. I just think their offense is going to be extremely explosive, as it's been ever since Joe been there, ever since I've been watching football from back in the day, going back to Carson Palmer time and Ocho Cinco and T.O. But I'm going to go with Saquon repeating as Offensive Player of the Year as my 1A, but my 1B, it definitely would be Jamar Chase. Next up, we got the DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. Man, this is tough, man. This is a really, really tough one. Last year it was Patrick Surtain II. I don't think it's going to go to a corner this year, man. I think it's going to swing back towards the interior guys. And I think they're going to do something that they haven't done in a while. And this is probably me going out on a limb here. But again, I'm going to stand on it. He's coming off a major injury, but I think he was having a DPOY worthy candidacy before he got injured last year. And I'm going to go with my boy Aiden Hutchinson. If he can stay healthy, I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to provide a dynamic pass rush, dynamic run stopping, leadership for that Lions defense. You know, they lost their coordinator to the Jets. You know, I'm hoping he's a good fit on the Jets. Y'all know I'm a Jets fan. Shout out Jet Nation, Jet Up. But I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to be DPOY this year. Again, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about that and give me y'all pick. We got the Rookie of the Year. So we're just going to go by offense and defense. The Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think it's going to be Ashton Genty, to be honest with you. I think he should have been the Heisman. Y'all, if y'all seen my previous episodes, y'all know how I feel about that. I think it's going to be Ashton Genty winning Offensive Rookie Year, and frankly, I think he's going to have a dominant season. There are a lot of good backs in this class. I think he's the best. I think he's in a class of his own. Next, let's go over the Defensive Rookie of the Year. If Travis Hunter was playing full-time defense or majority of the time defense, I would be picking Travis Hunter because I think he's great at playmaking offensively and defensively. But because He's going to be playing majority of the time on offense. I do believe he's fourth on the depth chart for cornerbacks and second behind Brian Thomas, but they're going to be starting together at receiver. So for defensive rookie, that was a tough one, man. Defensive rookie of the year. I had to get back to y'all on that one. I want to say somebody, and it's a corner, but I'm not sure, man. It doesn't typically go to corners as defensive rookies because there's so much of a learning curve. But we have heard that he's been dominating in practice. He is coming off of an injury, but I think he would have been a first round pick if there weren't the injury concerns. And I'm going to stick by my guns. You know, this is probably the one I'm least confident in. I'm going to go with Will Johnson for the Arizona Cardinals. Michigan cornerback, was dominant in college. More dominant the year before last than he was last year. But he was playing through injuries, and you got to respect that. And I've been hearing he's getting back to full health. All the reports is that he's back to full health, and he's dominating the Cardinal receivers in practice. And you know they got a stud over there, Marvin Harrison Jr. So we got to see how it plays out. Comeback player of the year. So I'm thinking somebody who got hurt last year. It has to be Aiden Hutchinson for me again. He only played in a certain amount of games, I think 6 or 7 games before he was hurt. And I think he's going to come back and win DPOY, so I'm sticking with him with comeback player of the year too. Next up, we got the Super Bowl MVP. Well, first, I'm going to talk about my Super Bowl pick. And I'm going to go with a repeat. The Philadelphia Eagles. That's probably easy, but often easy is also right. I think they got the most talented roster. I think they're the best front office in the NFL. I think they make smart moves around the margins. They get veterans who are hungry for one last big contract. They draft extremely well. They're up there with the Ravens, in my opinion, as far as their drafting ability and consistency. They signed all their important pieces, and a few people got away, but I think they adequately replaced them. They got Saquon Barkley, a steady hand in Jalen Hurts. They got explosive receivers, a dominant offensive line. I do think, they got to get back Landon Dickerson to full health. He just had an injury, but it wasn't catastrophic and season ending, so they got to get him back. But the Eagles was my Super Bowl pick, so I think it's going to be the Eagles versus the Baltimore Ravens, which is going to be a great, awesome Super Bowl, especially for my colored people, with Philly versus Baltimore. But on a serious tip, man, I think that'll be a great Super Bowl. And I think, man, with that Super Bowl, that make me have to rethink it because, I want Lamar to win. I'm a Florida boy, South Florida boy specific, Southwest Florida, to get it right. Man, that'll be a tough game, man. That'll be an awesome game. But I'll probably have Saquon as the MVP if the Eagles were to win, and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry to win the MVP if the Ravens win. I think you'll have to win that on the ground. Lamar's dynamic. Jalen Hurts is dynamic. Man, that give me goosebumps just thinking about a Super Bowl of that magnitude with those two guys, two black quarterbacks, and two dominant defenses, two dominant offenses. Eagles have a much better O-line, but Lamar with his dual threat ability, to me, Lamar is the best player, just pure ability-wise in the NFL. So I'm going to have to go with those two. And let me know what y'all think about that one. Exec of the year, we'll have to see, but I think it goes down to, can't think of the exec by name, but I'm going to go with front office. I think the front office of the year, if they have a great season, will be, I don't even want to say this team because they're my rivals, but the New England Patriots. I think Mike Vrabel was the best coach on the market. They end up getting him back. New Drake May. He has to have a bounce back year for this to happen. He didn't have a terrible season, but he didn't have a Jaden Daniels season. He didn't have Caleb Williams season. So I think he'll have to have a bounce back year, obviously, for this thing to work. and they drafted well. I like some of their free agent signings. They overpaid for some guys, but they do have a nucleus of talent. It's about putting it together, and I think Mike Vrabel, especially with his history there, a Super Bowl champion multiple times, that he can get those guys in the right direction. So I think that's it for major awards, but I'll create a award real quick, and that'll be what player will have a second year breakout in the NFL from last year's rookie class. If y'all got a chance to look at last year's draft in the first round, then you will get a chance to see that it's one of the greatest first rounds ever in the NFL draft. I don't think the number one pick performed up to the expectations that people had for him. He had decent numbers statistically wise, but I also think he took the most sacks in the league, and that's from holding the ball, and that can come from not knowing what you're looking at. I think Ben Johnson was the second best hire on the market, which is not a slight to him. I think they're both awesome candidates are going to be at those organizations long. The Bears are in a tough division, but I think that with the Packers, with the Lions, I think they're going to be one more in there. Packers, Lions, Bears. I want to say Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. So a tough division. All those teams I expect to make the playoffs, frankly. And so Caleb Williams, I think he's going to have a second-year breakout. I think he's an awesome quarterback. He has so many weapons on that side of the ball. Improved offensive line. Of course, the running game is strong. Receivers are elite. Tight ends are elite, especially Colston Loveland, who they just picked up at number 10 in the draft. They had Cole Kmet. A lot of players and a lot of reason to do well. He has no excuses, to be honest with you. He has no excuses not to have an explosive offense and have a dominant sophomore season this year. And take his rightful place as number one pick of that class to perform the best. They picked you first for a reason. Now, with that, we're going to talk a little bit about the college football season, man. And I wanted to get into the top 25 per the coaches and AP poll. And I want to talk about my three most surprising as far as who I think is good picks and who I think are overrated. So underrated and overrated. Y'all let me know in the comments below too. So we got the AP poll top 25, man. We got Texas at number 1, Boise State at number 25. So I'm looking at here. And first, let's get into underrated teams. You got the underrated teams. I think it's underrated. You got Oregon at number 7. That's underrated to me. I think I would have put them above. Ooh. It's tough, man. I'm doing this all off the top, and I want to be as authentic as possible. I think, of course, you got to give it to Notre Dame because they made the Natty last year. Texas, they got a lot of talent, but, they got a lot of talent. They made it to the playoffs last year. I'm not saying you had them at number 2, but I would have probably had Oregon above Penn State. Now, I'm a big fan of Penn State this year, so that's tough to say, but I think they got a lot of returning talent. They've been recruiting off the charts. You can say the same thing for Penn State. But I love to see Dante Moore this year. He has to prove something. And, of course, Penn State has a veteran quarterback coming back who I think can be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. At this point, I think he is going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. The defense for Penn State lost a lot, but again, Penn State always got some dogs on that side of the ball. And let me make this clear. I don't think Penn State is overrated. I think Oregon is underrated. Let's go back and forth. So who I think is overrated team in the top 25? OU. You got Oklahoma. They lost a lot of games last year. Now, I love the addition of John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle on the offensive side of the ball, but they went 6-6. Yes, they beat Alabama. Had a couple good wins on their resume, couple bad losses. Obviously, going 6-6 their first year transitioning to the SEC. But I'd like to see them earn that position of being ranked. Let's start outside the top 25 and work your way up, and see where it goes. I just don't think they deserve that ranking at this point, and we'll see how it turns out. Not to say they won't end up ranked, because they did improve massively on the offensive side of the ball, and that's really where they were lacking, but we have to see. So back to, we're overrated. Let's go back to underrated. Underrated team. I'm gonna say Texas A&M. I love Marcel Reed as a quarterback, dual threat ability. That offense he was in, they started off undefeated. I think they got to about 6 or 7-0, and they were dominating teams. Mike Elko's first year on the job. His second year on the job, I expect them to be more cohesive on both sides of the ball as units. And so I think they're going to climb the ranks here and to be a surprise team in the SEC. After that, I know people, so overrated. I know people aren't going to like this, what I'm about to say at all. But overrated, I'm going to have to go with Boise State. They're number 25. I think the nucleus of their team was Ashton Jeanty. We all know that Heisman candidate. He's the reason why they were so dominant. They're well coached. But I think this year, especially in the conference they're in, that they're going to, I'm not going to say have some struggles, but I don't think they're going to make it back to the playoffs this year. And obviously 25, most people feel like they won't either, but we'll have to see. We'll have to go examine their full schedule, but as of right now, I say they overrated. Now we got one more underrated, one more overrated. So underrated, I'm going to have to go with, somehow I feel like Ohio State has been underrated by putting them at number 3. I think they deserve to be at number 1. Of course, Jeremiah Smith starts with him. Julian Sand was a 5-star quarterback, dominating when he was in high school, transferred from Alabama when Nick Saban retired. I think he's going to be a good starter. They got Carnell Tate. They got a host of wide receivers. Recruit well on the offensive, defensive lines. Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. This got a lot of household dominant name players. Of course, a lot of those players are seniors last year, and they went on to have another dominant draft. You say that a lot with Ohio State. And now a lot of those players are underclassmen and upperclassmen weren't playing as much to get their opportunity to play. So they're replacing those guys with hungry, ultra-talented guys. They did lose Chip Kelly to the NFL, to the Raiders. They did lose their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, to the Penn State Nittany Lions. It's also another reason I might have sided Penn State. And forgive me, Penn State faithful. But Ohio State, I think, as the reigning champion with everything they returned, they should have started back number 1, in my opinion. I'm going to say they're underrated. Now, for overrated, people not going to like what I'm about to say. People not going to like what I'm about to say, man. For overrated teams, man, I'm going to say the Florida Gators. Now, they got talent. Billy Napier has been recruiting his ass off. It's just strictly because I think all their success, and this for a lot of teams, depends on the health of DJ Lagway. And over the past calendar year, we've heard of 3 injuries that he's faced that were soft tissue injuries. And, I think if, he's missing significant time at any point this year, even if it's 3, 4, 5 games, I don't believe they have much a chance to win those games. Like I said, they've recruited well. I think their defense is going to be ferocious. I think they're going to have one of the best offensive lines in college football this year. But it all depends on Lagway. If he can stay healthy, I hope he stays healthy. I'm a Florida State fan, so I'm not a Florida fan. But I hope he stays healthy because, I just want to see him succeed. I want him to do good. I want to watch good football. But having them all the way up at, what, we got number 15? Off of what? Last year, they lost 6 or 7 games. And to be number 15 is pretty high to me, especially when, what did they show that was better than Texas A&M, in my personal opinion? Or Tennessee, to be honest with you. What did they show that was better than those teams? I know Tennessee lost their quarterback. They replaced them pretty well. In my personal opinion, we're going to have to see. The ball's out and jury's on that. So give me y'all picks. I did 3 overrated and 3 underrated. Y'all give me y'all picks down in the comments below, man. We having fun tonight. We're going to keep it going. We almost down through that, though, man. It's been fun getting back to these solo pods, man. So first game we're going to talk about, let's talk about the first week 0 games in college football. College football returns tomorrow, man. Big game. We got Iowa State versus Kansas State. That's going to be a really good game. Both ranked, I think, number 17 versus number 22. You got Rocco Beck, I believe is how you say his name, experienced quarterback for Iowa State. They lost a lot to the NFL draft, but I think that defense is going to be ferocious, experienced, good quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. And this game has playoff implications. You got Avery Johnson and Dalen Edwards over there on the other side for Kansas State. And good secondary, good back seven for Kansas State. So it's going to be a chess match in this game, but it has, in my opinion, playoffs to Big 12 title game implications. We know Texas Tech is talking about playoffs and Big 12 title or bust, but these are two teams that, in my opinion, are going to be standing in the way of Texas Tech. And they're going to have to go through them. And we're going to see how it plays out. As far as predictions in this game, as of right now, it's hard for me to go against the experience of Iowa State, but I am. This game is also in Dublin, Ireland. So it's not going to be playing at home for either team. This is a really early game in the season. You know, they just coming off camp. So I think a lot of things are going to be vanilla on both sides of the ball. Expect a lot of read option from Kansas State in this game. Right now, I'm going to have to go with the talent of that backfield of Kansas State. I think they're going to run the ball really well. Avery Johnson, I think he has the potential to be a breakout star in the Big 12 this year. I expect him to be up for, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year after it's said and done. I have really high hopes for that kid, and we'll see how it plays out. We're going to talk about a few of the games, and then, we're going to chop it up, end it on a good note, man. We got Boise State at South Florida, man. I think they really tried, the betting sites, they really tried South Florida, and they don't got much hope for them boys this year. But I do. I think they're going to pull off the upset and upset Boise State in that first game, man. We're going to talk about some of the notable games, not some of them, the cupcake games. But upsets happen, and I love upsets. You got Texas versus Ohio State at Ohio State, man. Right now, I believe Texas is favored to win that game. Arch Man is going to get his third start, I believe. His first start as in I'm the starting quarterback going forward. And, man, right now, I'm gonna have to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with Ohio State. I don't know how the national champions is underdogs, but right now I'm gonna go with Ohio State to pull out the dub at home, man, and start off the year good. Even though I think Texas is gonna be right there in the playoffs conversation this coming year. You got Syracuse at Tennessee. Tennessee obviously they got to replace their quarterbacks, a couple playmakers on the skill positions, especially at running back. He went to the draft, Ralph Sampson. I'm gonna go with or Dylan Sampson. My bad. I'm going to go with Tennessee to win this game going away, even though I think Fran Brown is doing an excellent job at Tennessee. And if Mike Norvell don't get it done at Florida State this year, I wouldn't mind them looking at Fran Brown for sure. Let's see, man. Get a cupcake. You got Alabama coming in the dope, playing big Florida State, man. Big nose. But nah, for real, but I do feel that way, man. I'm going to have to go with, it hurt my heart to say this, but I'll be surprised if Florida State get the dub, man. Right now, I just got to go with my analytical mind, man. I got to go with how I really feel, man. I think Bama pulls out this game. They're favored by 2 touchdowns. I think they favor 13.5 favorites right now, and they playing at Doak. Florida State, horrendous season last year, 2-10. I never thought I would see that in my lifetime, but I did, and it was hard to see. And it was a lot of games I was crying after, man. But nah, I'm just playing. But I got Alabama currently winning that game, man. It hurts to say, man. Big weekend, though. The last game we'll talk about, man, is a big game between And we're going to talk about more games as it goes on. I'm going to drop individual videos for y'all, shorts. Y'all stay tuned to the channel, man, and watch all my shorts, comment, like, subscribe, have discussions, because we're going to have a lot of fun on this channel, man. I'm telling you, we turning up. But the last game, we can talk about Notre Dame, Notre Dame versus Miami. Catholics versus convicts, as the old adage goes. I don't care what the situation is. I'm going with Notre Dame. They're the national championship runner-up. C.J. Carr get his first start. They got Jeremiah Love, who in my opinion is the best running back in college football. Of course, Miami has a massive amount of talent. I love Mark Fletcher over there, Jordan Lyles. They picked up Carson Beck for 4 M's for the transfer portal. I just want to see how he connects with his receivers after not playing in the spring, coming back from that elbow injury. Miami has one of the best offensive lines in all of college football. I think they're a top 10 offensive line unit. That defense, they picked up the defensive coordinator from Minnesota. He's going to bring some exotic things, focus on stopping the run, getting that potentially explosive offensive back the ball. They just got to be serviceable. Last year, they was getting ran out the building, and they're the reason why Miami ultimately didn't achieve its goals and stated goals of making the college football playoffs and competing for an ACC championship with late losses to Syracuse. They should have lost to Virginia Tech. They got lucky. But either way, I'm a diehard no, and I don't rock with the Miami boys, so I'm going with Notre Dame to win this game. And hopefully they win in a massive, massive, massive blowout game. You feel me? The last thing I want to talk to y'all about is this the last 2 things, and I'm knowing my son, he's sitting right here, but we having fun. The last one I want to talk about is the debate between Caitlin Clark and Paige Beukners. Off top, I think I love Paige Beukners. I'm a big Gino Auriemma fan, Connecticut fan, especially their connection with Gigi Bryant and the late Kobe Bryant and late Gigi Bryant. Rest in peace to both of them. I think Gino Auriemma is the best college basketball coach of all time on the women's side. And he runs a great program, and Paige is the latest star to come through Connecticut. So I've watched her throughout her entire career. She's an awesome player, and I think she's going to be a player in the MVP ranks coming up this year. But all-around player, I think, is still Caitlin Clark at this point. Paige Beukners is just a rookie. They didn't make the playoffs to Dallas Wings. But Caitlin Clark got a good team around her with Kelsey Milchill, Leah Boston. Sophie Cunningham is just out for the season. But I think they still got enough to make a deep run in the playoffs, and I'm hoping for it. I'm going to be watching the games. I think other people should watch WNBA games as well. And I think because of those 2 basketball players' presence, along with Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, the best player in the WNBA in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, and I'm forgetting her name. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm forgetting her name. She plays for the Minnesota Lynx. It'll come to me, and I know y'all gonna say it in the comments. Nafisa Collier, another dominant WNBA player. And the host of them, the WNBA actually had an attendance record this year because we have so many young stars, and I can't wait for Juju to get into the WNBA. It's really gonna be up. Now, y'all tell me y'all thoughts of who y'all think is better. Right now, I'm going with Caitlin Clark still. Finally, last thing we're going to holler about is 2 big fights that's coming up, man. First, we're going to talk about a little bit of the exhibition. That's Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, man. Huge weight difference. First of all, I want to see what weight they're going to fight at. But I know Jake Paul ain't getting down to 135. As a dude that's in the 200 pounds and Jake Paul in 200 pounds, ain't no way we going back to 135 unless you want the Pookie die. Unless you doing crack is whack, is whack. Unless you doing something like that, then you ain't getting down to 135, and that's real. Unless you're sick, boy, you need to get a checkup from the neck up. But on some real talk, they gonna make a huge bag of money, and that's what it's all about. This is about money. I feel bad for Lamont Roach that he's not gonna get that rematch right now. It seems like he's been training for it, and honestly, I thought he won the first fight. It's debatable, and we could have that debate, but I think he won the first fight. It's unfortunate that Tank is going to hold up the belt for this exhibition with Jake Paul. You know, honestly, I think people overlooking Jake Paul in this one. I know Tank got the massive skill, Tank got power, and Tank is Tank. But Jake Paul might have a 50-pound weight advantage, man. If he mess around and hit Tank the wrong way, he might knock Tank out. You got knocked the fuck out. I doubt it happens, but we got to see. And like I said in the video, y'all go check out a short that I just released. It's our fault. You know what I'm saying? It's my fault for allowing this to happen. Tank is holding up the belts because he can. He's the champion, but he also is chasing that bag, which I can't hate on. Tank got plenty of money, but I don't count other brothers' pockets. Go get that bread. And like I said, I'm going to watch it regardless, but it is kind of contributing to boxing being looked at as a joke. You know what I'm saying? So y'all tell me how y'all feel. If there's controversy, if it's not controversy, who y'all feel gonna win the fight? If the weight difference too big, what advantages each fighter gonna have? Let's have a discussion. Because over here at 32 Innings Podcast, we are a community for sure. Our last fight last topic we're gonna talk about is Terrance Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, man. Who's gonna be that guy of this generation, man? A lot of people saying that it's too much weight for Crawford. Crawford is my favorite fighter of the generation. Let's get that out of the way. Undefeated. I think it's crazy that people are speculating he might have lost his last fight to Madrimal. I think Madrimal at most won 3 rounds in that fight. But I get the weight difference. Canelo got a steel granite crimson chin. We never even really see him hurt like that or really get tagged like that. Great defense. But to me, Canelo don't have the same foot speed as he had in the years past. As he's gotten older, we got to remember, Terrance Crawford is older, but Canelo has much more experience from a vast career in the amateurs, as well as a long professional career where he's been quite active. And so I've seen him slow down. Canelo hasn't stopped nobody in a couple years now. He hasn't stopped nobody. So for people thinking that he's going to knock Terrance Crawford out, to me, that's insane. We know Terrance Crawford just came off an insane streak. I think of 8 stoppages in a row at welterweight. Of course, he moved up in weight to Madrimal. That was coming after a long layoff, and this is coming after a long layoff as well. So we got to see how Bud is going to perform. He's put on weight. Bud is naturally taller, has a naturally longer reach by, I believe, 2 inches. Pause. So we going to see how the fight plays out, man. I still got this as the biggest fight of the year. Like I said, I'm a Bud fan, man. I think Bud is going to have a speed advantage. I think his defense is going to be superb. It's going to have to be, because regardless, I don't think he's going to knock Bud out. Them punches still going to build up. Them punches going to hurt, man. Them punches, Canelo is going to try to get on the inside. I like Bud from range, but we know Bud is susceptible to getting hit too, man. And we going to have to see, man. I don't think Canelo is just going to beat Bud up or anything like that. And I don't think Bud is going to beat up Canelo. I think he's going to box him from the outside. I do think they're going to engage a few times. This boxing, they're going to get hit. I think Canelo is going to feel Bud, and Bud is definitely going to feel Canelo. Pause. And I think Bud wins in a 12-round decision. I think that he sees holes in Canelo's game. And so I don't think he's going to come in scared of Canelo. I do think he's going to engage. I think Bud is going to be the hardest opponent Canelo has fought since Triple G. I think the defense is going to be up there with Bud. I think Canelo has good defense as well, but you're going against a really fast guy. And right now I have to say Bud in a 12-round decision. I know it's going to be a lot of fanboys in the comments saying differently, but y'all get in the comments, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this fight. Give me y'all fight predictions. So after the fight, we can come back to them as a community and discuss what happened, because that's all I want here. But I also want y'all to stand on it, because I'm in front of the camera. I'm standing on it for sure. I got Bud coming out 12-round decision. Y'all let me know in the comments below. It's been good, man. This episode 96. Showing my boy how to do it. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night for sure.